All right, good evening, everyone. At this time, I'd like to welcome you to the City Council meeting for February the 11th, 2019. At this time, I'll ask you, please, there are American flags in both the front and the back of the room. If you would, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Parker, would you take the roll, please?
Atchison.
Here.
DeMott.
Here.
Haney.
Here.
Mankey.
Here.
Seitz.
Here.
Scully. Here. Vols.
Here. All right, members of the council, and the first item on the agenda is tonight's the minutes of the January 28th meeting. Ms. Seitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the City Council approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 28th, 2019 as presented.
Mr. DeMont.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes. All those in favor, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is a presentation. We have a proclamation for Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week. Ms. Scully, if you would, please.
Mr. Mayor? You know what? Yes. we're standing here tonight. You have to do it. You have to, please.
Hi, this is my wife Jessica. My name is Jean. This is Taylor and Peter. We are the Joan family, and we are here for the proclamation for congenital heart defect awareness.
You'll notice we're all wearing red in honor of this event as well. So this is very exciting. I'm going to read a little bit about congenital heart disease, or defects, I'm sorry. And I get nervous.
I know.
So I'm going to read just a little bit. So this is called congenital heart defects, CHD. CHD are the most common birth defects in the United States, affecting approximately 1 in every 110, about 40,000 babies each year. For many forms of CHD, surgery is not a cure. Congenital heart disease is a lifelong condition requiring specialized care, and often additional surgeries and medications are needed later in life. Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week is recognized as a means to support and empower families affected by CHDs through peer-to-peer support, education, awareness, and advocacy. CHD does not only happen in the hospital or in the doctor's office. It is a lifelong chronic condition. Recognizing Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week supports the city's strategic plan of vibrant, inclusive, and engaged community by encouraging residents to increase awareness and support for those affected by CHD. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your story?
She wrote. This is something my wife wrote for everybody here, and she's having a hard time reading it to you guys. My daughter, Haley, was diagnosed with a potential congenital heart defect, CHD, when I was 5 months pregnant. My wife, not me. In order to receive a more accurate diagnosis, we had to go to Hawaii from Guam, and that is where we received the devastating news that our daughter had an even tougher journey in front of her. The initial diagnosis was wrong, and in the fact she only had half a heart. She was diagnosed with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, HLHS. We were given a choice to terminate the pregnancy or fight. We chose to fight. We wanted to fight for every second we could get with her, even if it meant we were only given a single breath or a single second. She was born in 2002 in Long Beach, where they confirmed that she had 2 CHDs instead of 1. They had discovered an atrial septal defect, ASD, where she was medevaced to Children's Hospital in LA to correct it. 2 days later, she had a second open heart surgery to begin the process of addressing her HLHS. She started to respond to this treatment, and we dared to begin talking about her going home to Guam, where she could finally meet her brothers and the rest of her family. We spent a few weeks on the regular floor where she was able to sleep with me, my wife. The day we were scheduled to leave, we found out the medication was not available on our little island of Guam. So they wanted to keep her one more day to make sure she didn't have any reactions to the medication. That evening, she went into distress and was rushed back to the cardiothoracic ICU floor. There they found scar tissue that built up around her aorta and was compressing around her pulmonary vein, making it difficult for her to breathe. They again put her on the respiratory machine. They formed another plan to correct the situation with another open heart surgery. The next 3 days were very different from any of her days before. She slept and she didn't need a lot of pain medication or even Tylenol. The day of her surgery, she coded on the table, and they came to me to tell me. Their faces had so much more than the words I could hear. She passed away later that evening at the age of 2 months and 16 days. Years later, in 2011, I passed out, and my wife passed out suddenly and blew it off as an exhaustion episode, only to find out a month later after a few tests that I, too, had an atrial septal defect like my daughter. My repair did not require an open heart surgery, but a catheterization through a vein. Knowing that scar tissue was the problem that led to my daughter's cardiac arrest and death was too much to process, because I needed the scar tissue in my heart to build up around the mesh in order to repair my ASD. I needed scar tissue, yet my daughter was killed by it. Facing my yearly checkups and hearing the words, "You're doing great," was more than my heart could handle. One of my goals was requesting this proclamation to raise awareness about congenital heart defects. Our community should have a general familiarity with the term like we do with cancer and diabetes, not to mention the fact that you too can have no no familial history or congenital heart defects, and still be diagnosed with one. No one in our family has a history of CHD, nor had I even heard of the term prior to my daughter's diagnosis, which is this is the reason why I want to wear awareness. I want to raise awareness. Thank you to everyone in this room that helped us as a family create a memory surrounding Haley's journey. We are sincerely appreciative of your time and your support.
You're welcome. So February is Heart Awareness Month as well. So this is a really appropriate proclamation for this time. And I would ask everyone to really take some time this month. Take care of yourself first. Go have your heart checked out, and then also do some reading on it. Find out what you can do to help, because our hearts are the most important part of it. Proclamation. Whereas the well-being of our children, our most precious resource, is of paramount importance, and maintaining excellent health among children is a top priority. And whereas congenital heart defects, CHDs, are the most frequently occurring birth defect and are the leading cause of birth-related deaths in the U.S., and whereas approximately 40,000 infants each year are born with CHDs, and they can be fatal due to their seriousness, insufficient effective medical intervention options, and the limited availability of infant donor hearts, and whereas the origins and symptoms of CHDs are becoming more readily identifiable, and the range of surgical options are expanding continuously thanks to doctors and scientists' diligent work, research efforts, and field of experiences that extend our body of knowledge every day, and whereas there is much to learn about the causes of and effective treatments for CHDs, and it is important for parents, pediatricians, and nurses to recognize the warning signs associated with CHDs among newborns so that they may provide proper treatment as early as possible. And whereas many families and communities are directly or indirectly affected by infant illness and death caused by CHDs, and sharing experiences and information with the public and media raises public awareness about CHDs. Now therefore, I, Herb Atchison, Mayor of City of Westminster, on behalf of the entire City Council and staff, do hereby proclaim February 7th through February 14th, 2019 as Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Week, and encourage residents to join in the campaign to increase awareness of this serious health matter in an effort to improve early diagnosis, better outcomes for our youngest residents. Signed the 11th day of February 2019, Herb Atchison, Mayor. That's for you. Thank you, and we need a picture. I'm so proud of you.
Next item on our agenda is an item called Citizen Communications. It's a period of time where each individual who has signed up can come forward for a period of up to 5 minutes. 5-minute period of time. Once you're up there and you identify yourself, we will start the clock. The green light comes on, your 5 minutes starts. When the yellow light comes on, again, a reminder you have 1 minute left. When the red light comes on, that means your time is up and we ask you to leave the podium. This is a period of time where you can bring up any item that we do not have a public hearing scheduled for, and since we have none tonight, you're open to the public. So I will call you in the order that you're signed up and we ask you to come forward at that time. Mr. Brandt, you're up first.
Good evening. My name is Eric Brandt, and I'm still living inside my body, thankfully. Unfortunately, Timmy Henley's no longer living inside his body, and that's kind of your fault. So there's a couple things that I want to point out from the very beginning. First of all, not all of you were here at the very beginning, so you may not know the whole story. You may think you know the story, but you don't. And what you did this evening, Miss Seitz asked for a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Now, the meeting minutes that I read online, interestingly enough, do not contain comments of 4 speakers. And isn't it interesting that the only comments that were in the minutes that you guys all approved tonight were comments that were by people that weren't here to support Eric? You should be ashamed of yourselves. I know you're not, right? I know you're not, because I spent 5 years in court with me and he still doesn't get it. And of course, David DeMott has stood up here and said, oh, please, I don't want you to be held hostage by certain people in our community. And of course, I'm talking about Eric Brandt, right? But you guys held me hostage. You guys actually committed 27 documented acts of violence against Eric Brandt. Those are acts of violence, right? When people throw me to the ground, slam my head into a car door, arrest me over and over again, like that murderer sitting right there. I'm talking about Drew Smith. What about Antonio Guzman, a 2-time murderer with a corrupt dad as a cop? So here tonight, the other thing we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Timmy Henley. I've read a lot of district attorney reports on police misconduct and police shootings. And guess what? I'm going to tell you from the language of David Young's report alone, from that language alone, that district attorney wanted to prosecute your cops for a wrongful death. You don't accidentally shoot somebody in the back of the neck while they're on the ground. What about the missing shell casings? Here's what his report said. Based on the evidence that was presented to the district attorney's office, you could not, Herb, fucking pay attention to me when I'm talking, right? This is your time to listen to me. You don't have to listen to me any of the rest of the time of the week, right? Pay attention. Miss Seitz pays attention when I'm talking. And I think that you should too. After 5 years, I think we know that you need to fucking pay attention. So stop interrupting my speech and being stupid. Thank you. So in Timmy Henley's case, he immediately turns, let the record show that he immediately turned his head away from me. That's hysterical. In Timmy Henley's case, he said that there was not enough evidence presented to sustain a conviction beyond a reasonable doubt. We have more than enough evidence to sustain that Herb Atchison is still not going to pay attention to me. We've got that, right? Yeah. You just keep digging your hole, don't you? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So in Timmy Henley's case, he didn't have enough evidence to support a conviction. Well, the reason why there wasn't enough evidence, you guys, is because you guys gave them the evidence. So that's what I'm here to tell you about tonight. Tonight, I demand justice for Timmy Henley. I demand justice for Nick Damon. Demand justice for a whole lot of people that died on your watch. Okay? You don't need to be spending $1 million on tasers. If you think tasers don't kill people, take a look at Matthew Poore. Murdered by a taser, by a bad cop. Cops that I've been trying to get out of the system. You've got them here in Westminster. You've got them in this room tonight. Because there's one person in this room that is more responsible for my protesting work than any other person in the entire city of Westminster, except maybe you. And so I'm here to tell you tonight that you're going to spend money on body cameras. Not tasers, body cameras. And I know that you're going to spend the money on body cameras because you sure as fuck don't want to wait until I'm the mayor to do it. Giggle. I can see you giggling. I know your facial expressions well, Herb, you're giggling. So justice for Timmy Henley, justice for Eric Brandt, justice for Nick Damon, justice for your employers, right? These people employ you. They employ you and you guys in the wings. How about justice for that poor woman that your cop raped? I knew he was a dirty cop from the first day. Justice for all those people means you're getting body cameras. And I'm going to make you do it. Happy fuck the cops day, Herb. I'm back.
Hello, everyone. I have my shirt on today. My body's out. Justice for Timothy Henley. Okay? There's a lot of people that get killed in our country over and over and over again by the thin blue line. Okay? We uphold these people, and we want to hold them as heroes. And I don't believe it's so. Okay, a hero's a very big name. Okay? They chose that job. Okay, I don't feel sorry for them because they should be tougher than I am. They should have more of a leather skin than I do. But me and my friend, well, hell, we get eaten all the time just for the words that we say. You know, it's kind of weird because I grew up with sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And then I learned when I grew up that unless you're wearing a police uniform, and then those words can get you beaten and even killed, right? So it is me as a citizen of the United States, because not even the city, I believe that your department is way late on having cameras, okay? Because there's a lot of false statements. We get banged with false statements and false accusations all the time to make them horrible. They try to make us everything from dangerous and violent to child molesters, right? Just to silence our speech, just because of words we'd said. It's kind of scary, you know, because you guys are the ones that are supposed to be here to protect us. You guys are the ones that we've chosen, you know, that you guys keep us safe and keep us protected. And yet, when things like this happen, we come to you guys and nothing happens, right? We get you know, chased and everything. Like this man right here, he's been given the highest position of the city, and yet he is the most disrespectful man in this room today. The topics that we're talking about here are very important, okay? But not important enough for him to pay attention because his ego won't let him. Shame on you, sir. It's embarrassing. You are before the people that give you the position that you have, that you enjoy. Great cupcakes out there. You guys didn't spare a dime on those. Those were awesome. Thank you. You know, but it's not the way it should be. Okay? We need a little bit more transparency from our government. Okay? We need just for Timothy Henley and the other names that were mentioned here also. We need those body cameras, and we just need more accountability. We need more of you guys to stand up and say, you know what, that is wrong. You know, and I believe that the fact that I say that it's wrong is more important than my position or my job. You know, because we've lost things called integrity, right? Dignity. You know, things that, you know, we stood up for regardless of what the outcome was, but we stood up because it was true, because it was right. Whatever happened to that, Herb? Sir, you're older than I am, I'm sure. And I know that those kind of qualities were ingrained in you as a child. What happened to you, Herb? Did it get changed with the age also? We're supposed to be the leaders. We're supposed to be the examples to the youth. Let's start being that, huh? I'm doing it and nobody pays me for it. You get paid a lot of money to do it. Get on it. Let's get some cameras up in here. Let's make these guys accountable, huh? 90 days for rape. There's no way to go. You know what I'm saying? I've never done this before, but it's just so atrocious that I've come out here and I'm not a man of words. I'm not a smart man. I'm not a man out here that does this. I'm not a speaker, you know? It's just that I feel these things are so atrocious and that no one's doing anything. It's happening to me in other cities and everything, and no one's doing anything. Nobody cares. I came here and my words last time, which hit and resonated so hard, were erased from the minutes. Disgusting. Why is my speech not in there? Why is the speech of Miss Janet Matson not in there? Why is the speech of the silent citizen not in there? Why is the speech of Miss Angela not in there? Again, the words are not light. Man, really? You know, do you guys know that all of this that goes on stays on paper forever? Right? That means that you are a part of the atrocity. Right? Where's the honor in that? You know, there's more honor in one of you standing up and say, this is wrong, this is the way it's going to be, and then you get shit canned, right? Because you stood up, right? And you were the whistleblower. That person, you know, is the one that matters. You know, it's the Snowdens that matter. It's not the ones that bury them that matter. You know, it's the ones that say, no, this isn't right. These are my people because it is we the people. This is my beautiful, beloved country. We stand up here and do this I pledge allegiance. How beautiful that is. Can we do it for real, though? Can we really stand up for the principles of that flag? And thank you for letting me share my time with you guys. And I appreciate you guys for listening and actually listening. I appreciate you guys.
Let's smile. My name is Linda Graybiel. I live at 6504 West 95th Place in the Trendwood subdivision in the Jeffco side. And I come here representing Westminster Historical Society. But first of all, I want to say that I honor and respect your position. And I especially welcome our 3 new council members. I was thinking this evening of, I've been approached a few times, Linda, why don't you run for city council? And I was reminded of something that my son said after he came back from Iraq, serving over in the war. Someone asked him, Benjamin, do you ever want to get a Purple Heart or a Bronze Star? And he says, no way, it hurts. Do I ever want to be part of city council? No way, it hurts. That doesn't mean that I'm not a caring, involved citizen. And I come here tonight representing just the regular citizen. I am involved. I'm the president of the Westminster Historical Society. I serve on the city's Historic Landmark Board. I am a full-time teacher. I teach teenagers from all over the world, so I know attitude in every language. And then I also am the leader of the Allison Community Garden that the city manages over in the Semper Farm area. And I'm a proud grandmother of 11 grandchildren. I'm old, okay? And this next week, my husband and I are celebrating 49 years of marriage. So I've put in my time. And I come here to tell you that welcome new members, welcome you other ones. We value, the Westminster Historical Society values you and the city you represent because you've been very supportive of us. We wouldn't have a Bowles House Museum except for the city. And we wouldn't have an office that we can meet at. And when our little original city hall gets vandalized by the raccoons, you guys come out and fix it for us. So we appreciate it very much. You know, some of you are fairly new to the city, and as you traverse through the city, you may wonder, I wonder how that park got its name. How did that subdivision get called that? And why is this road winding? Some of the roads are winding because they are the original trails. We have a Cherokee Overland Trail that runs right through the Jeffco side that goes on up to the Oregon Trail up in Wyoming. And so you guys are on hallowed ground as you walk around this community. And also, how am I doing? Oh, I got lots of time. And some of you who've been here a while know that it's coming. It's coming. I got to talk about the dead people, you know, because that's what history is all about. You are all here because of your dead ancestors. And we are all here as a community because people 100 years ago were willing just to get down and dirty and sweaty and work this land. This land is really hard to work. If you've ever gardened around here, you know there's a lot of rocks and mud and gumbo. We got the strange weather, but it is beautiful. And I tell you, I've said this to some of you before. We have many of our kids, grandchildren live out in Aurora, some in Denver. But when I drive back inside these city limits, my heart rate goes down. Talk about healthy hearts. I love our community. I love our open space. And I love you guys for supporting us. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor Atchison and members of council. Welcome, new members of council. My name is Jeremy Rodriguez. I'm from the Office of Congressman Ed Perlmutter, and I'm here to give you guys a brief update of what we're doing here in the district and also what Ed is doing in D.C. As you all know, funding for the government is going to run out at midnight at Friday. So we have a deadline coming up, and hopefully there's a deal to be had. Ed does not want another government shutdown, and we invite everybody to call our office or visit our office to discuss any issues that you are concerned about regarding the government shutdown. On other news, some happenings in the Senate. The public lands package includes a permanent reauthorization of the Land, Water, and Conservation Fund. So that's good news. Hopefully we get some traction there. We just held a government in the grocery and a telephone town hall over these past couple of weeks. Now coming up in the first 2 weeks of March, we're holding a senior resource fair and a housing resource fair. You can check out those details at perlmutter.house.gov. New legislative session. Ed still serves on the Financial Services Committee, Science, Space, and Technology Committee, and he is also now on the Rules Committee. So he will be serving in those three over the next couple of years. His general priorities are infrastructure, student loans, affordable housing, economy and workforce development, healthcare as well. Legislative priorities is the Safe Banking Act, Transparent Healthcare Pricing Act, Space Weather Coordination Act, Student Loan Debt Relief legislation, and of course he wants to get to Mars in 2033, so he's pushing hard for that. If you guys would like to know more about what we're doing in DC and here in the district, I will be happy to take questions, or you guys can contact us in our office by phone, email, or coming to the office. That is all I have for you today. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I love freedom of speech. One of my professors in the university said, Mr. Americos, I don't agree with you, but I respect your freedom of speech. I like it. Some people just don't want to hear other people. It was the most nice thing in a college or a university there. Okay. Now, seeing this one, I don't point finger at you. Okay. I don't mean anything wrong with that one expression. Since you went through the screening process, as I know, all the members are filled all position, and welcome to it. I could not go through those screening, I'm sure. Probably I would be mental institution by the end of it. But anyway, one thing I don't care at the city council, if it is a Republican or Democrat or unaffiliated. And only thing I care about a character. If this person is to serve people and help people without taking other people's money to give to somebody else. Now I wonder if one party could take over the city council, it would mean that some of the city council members would not listen to other people with whom they don't agree, and might even go as far as discriminating against certain people. I wonder if it could happen. That happens many times, so I just wonder. And could be that some city council member would divide people up like friend and enemy. Either it is friend, so he is Republican, or friend, and he is Democrat. I don't think it should be divided up. I think you serve the city, all people in the city. I know there is no such member between. I am not aware having such member, city council member. It would be shame, because we all serve the city, and I am doing it too, giving you money, all the things too much. I wonder if you could cut this down, but I really appreciate it. Another issue I will bring up later, That's still green there. I drive slowly, okay. I think instead of pulling apart, we all should work together, and instead of division, united for the good goal. And that's other issue entirely. Perhaps next time I will have more detail. But last time I think it was brought up that some people need some housing, and they divide up. If the old citizen cannot afford a housing, they could go to a government and get housing. I think the problem with that, somebody has to pay for those housing, and that is taken from those who have it, and pretty soon we get to the situation when they don't have it, and it goes down in a vicious circle. Or we have those who have less, then after that nobody has less. I mean, nobody has more, everybody has less. So I think that it goes around, taking some people who are doing well, giving to somebody else. Now less people who did well, I doesn't do well. Now pretty soon everybody's not doing well. So I call that a vicious circle. I just wonder if you are aware of it, and I would really ask you to pay attention for this. Well, I said thank you very much. Oh. Liberty and justice for all who can afford a lawyer.
At this time, we've exhausted the list of the people who have signed up to speak tonight. Is there anyone who didn't have the opportunity to speak up before we picked up the signature list that still would like to come forward? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the report of city officials. Mr. Tripp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of brief comments. First of all, welcome to our new city council members on behalf of the City of Westminster staff. We're so pleased to see this dais full, and we want to thank you in advance for your willingness to serve, and look very, very, very much forward to working with all of you. So thank you for being here. Just two really quick things. It occurs to me that we should probably mention from time to time there's lots of planning going on in the city this year in 2019. You can go to our city website and look under a program called Westminster Forward under our website. And Westminster Forward is a place where we've put all of these plans in one location, and these plans all have dates of public meetings and drafts of documents that relate to our comprehensive plan, to plans for sustainability. And one of those plans is in midway of execution and developing that plan this week, and that's the Harris Park plan. I won't speak a lot about that because there may be council members who want to comment, but that meeting is going to be held tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. In Westminster, in South Westminster. So I just again want to thank all the new council members, and we look forward to 2019 with all 7 of you being a really, really productive year.
To follow up on Mr. Tripp and some of the comments earlier, we've gone through a lot of interviews between boards and commissions, 2 rounds of council vacancy fillings. I think the last count Mr. DeMott was trying to track it all. We had over 100 interviews that we've done in the last part of last year and the first couple of months this year. But to Mr. Tripp's point, it's good to have a full council. We are especially proud of the ones that were selected. We're also very proud of those who applied and were not selected. Some of you have the dubious honor of not only just getting selected and seating, but starting the campaign process to get elected or re-elected starting later this year. And we wish all of you the best of luck on that. From the standpoint of the city, it's good to have a full council back. It always helps us make better decisions when we have all the voices of council at one time. We've been very fortunate to have had some excellent leaders who have come and been a part of this council and have gone on to other duties. I don't know why. They had the best jobs they had here. They would go to the county and the state and have to work with bigger headaches than we have here. And the big thing about here is it's very easy for us to become very engaged in what we do here in the community. And I think that's a big part of what makes this council different from state and county levels. We're closer to the citizens. We hear more about what they want, what they don't want. And sometimes we can match up and sometimes we can't. But I think the issue is that everybody, we want to make sure that we get the opportunity as much as possible to engage with the community. The Harris Park piece, as Don mentioned, will be later this week, so if any of the council members wish to go down and observe what's going on, we appreciate doing that, but there's a lot of opportunities you're going to get. And you thought your calendars were full before, give it another week or so, we start getting everything on there, I will promise you it'll get a lot busier. But again, to all the new council members and all those who went through the process with us, thank you very much, and congratulations to all three. Ms. Seitz, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to agree with your professor. I also love free speech. And I think it's really, really wonderful that we have a forum like this, that people with different perspectives can come and speak and be heard and voice issues that they really are passionate about. So I want to say thank you to the proclamation today. I thought that was a wonderful way to give tribute and also to raise awareness. So thank you, Councilor Scully. I know you helped usher in that. So, and to the family, they were wonderful. But so thank you for that. I also want to just clear something up, and I don't want it to. I may be mistaken, but I don't believe there was an accusation that our meeting minutes were inaccurate or omitted some information, and I believe that the date was incorrect. Is that correct?
The meeting minutes that were approved with those speakers, those meeting minutes were approved 2 weeks ago.
Correct. So there was no intent to erase anyone's comments. We do really hold that as an important dialogue. So I did want to say they were included in previous meeting minutes 2 weeks ago. Now I have to say I would be remiss if I didn't welcome all of my new colleagues. I look forward to working with every single one of you. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished in the time that I've been on council. We're working on some important things, and I have absolute faith and confidence in each of you that you're going to be amazing stewards of this city. And I look forward to getting to know you and seeing what your vision for the city is in the future.
Mr. DeMont.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quickly, so I don't belabor anymore, welcome to the 3 new council members. It is good to have new people here and not just the 4 of us, although dinner seemed a little crowded tonight.
Sorry.
With that, I also would like to thank everybody who came out and spoke tonight. I think that that's one of the most important things that you can do as a citizen, whether it's disagreement with what your government's doing or agreeing with it. I think that using your voice is one of the most important things that we in the United States of America can do, is making sure that we use our rights so that they're not forgotten. Lastly, I want to thank the Historical Society members for coming out. They brought us one of their new newsletters, and it looks great. Thank you very much for providing those to us. And if you're somebody who cares a lot about history, I would suggest that you see Linda Grable and her team and learn about Westminster's history. Thank you for coming out.
Ms. Scully.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so I sound like a broken record over here, but I just wanted to say welcome to the new counselors as well, and to really thank everyone who stepped up for the appointments. My goodness, what an incredible city we have, with so many people interested in serving and being a part of this great place. So thank you. And I would also like to thank everyone who stepped up tonight to share their thoughts with us. I think that's very important, and I always enjoy hearing the thoughts, whether they're similar to mine or not. And the Historical Society, I believe, has a meeting on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at the, now correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Grayville, at the Westminster School building, but it's the Despain building, is that correct? History Center. See, I go there every month and I can't get it right. But so I would encourage you to attend if you're in the neighborhood. I will be there.
Any other comments from council? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item. This is consent agenda. It's an area where we take routine matters that are being acted on by a single motion, and I'm astonished that we only have one item on the consent agenda tonight. Did staff run out of time, or no? Okay. Since there's no one asked to have the item removed at this point, Mr. DeMont, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that the City Council adopt consent agenda item 8A.
Ms. Scully.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Or, I'm sorry, move your button. Wrong one. There you go. There you go. Now we got 7-0 for the vote for the consent agenda. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is item 10A. This is Councilor's Bill number 3. See if I get it back. Ms. Scully?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to pass Councilor's Bill number 3 on first reading, amending Title 5, Chapter 14 of the Westminster Municipal Code as it relates to the recodification of the state liquor law titles and the removal of a license type.
Ms. Sykes?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any comments or questions from council? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote. Ms. Parker?
Atchison.
Yes.
DeMott.
Yes.
Haney. Menke.
Yes.
Seitz.
Yes.
Scully.
Yes.
Vols.
Yes.
Heard all yeses, but I only got 6 on the screen. Now I got it. Okay. Motion passes on a 7-0 vote. Next item is item 10B, the resolution number 3. Volt? Didn't get it all fast enough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt resolution number 3, establishing the 2019 calendar year interest rate for non-city funded public improvement recovery contracts at 7.5% and an interest rate of 3.53% for city funded public improvements.
Mr. DeMont?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by council? Seeing none, again, this is a roll call vote. Ms. Parker?
DeMott.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Menke.
Yes.
Seitz.
Yes.
Scully.
Yes.
Vols.
Yes.
Atchison.
Yes. Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Next item is item 10C. This is resolution number 4. Ms. Scully?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt resolution number 4, appointing a representative to the Westminster Police Department Committee on the disposition of fortified property. Forfeited property. Sorry, my eyes are not working.
Mr. DeMont?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments from council on item 10C? Ms. Parker, this is again a roll call vote.
Haney.
Yes.
Menke.
Yes.
Seitz.
Yes.
Scully.
Yes.
Vols.
Yes.
Atchison.
Yes.
DeMott.
Yes.
Need one more, folks. Might check your button. Okay, here we go. Motion is carried on a 7-0 vote. Next item on the agenda is item 10D. On 10D1, this is resolution number 5. Ms. Menke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt resolution number 5, approving the city's participation in the Metro Mortgage Assistance Plus program, which provides supportive home financing for low to moderate income residents.
Ms. Scully?
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by council? Hearing none, this is also a roll call vote. Ms. Parker?
Menke.
Yes.
Seitz.
Yes.
Scully.
Yes.
Vols.
Yes.
Atchison.
Yes.
DeMott.
Yes.
Haney.
Yes.
Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Ms. Menke, would you take the second part of that, please?
I move to authorize the city manager to execute the delegation and participation agreement on behalf of the city of Westminster.
Ms. Scully?
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion council on this item? Seeing none, this is a vote with your buttons, please. This motion also carries on a 7-0 vote. Next item is a recommendation from the city manager. This is item 10E. Mr. DeMott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move based on the recommendation of the city manager to find that the public interest will will be served by ratifying the negotiated sole source expenditure with ProForce Law Enforcement, the provider of Axon Enterprise Inc. taser equipment in the amount not to exceed $77,315 in 2019.
Ms. Scully?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any comments or questions from council on item 10E? Seeing none, this is a vote with your lights, please. Motion is carried on a 7-0 vote. Next item on the agenda is item 10F. Ms. Scully?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move, based on the recommendation of the city manager, to determine that the public interest will be best served by approving a negotiated contract with Acushnet, I hope I said that correctly, Titleist FoodJoy to award the contract to Acushnet and to authorize the city manager to purchase golf merchandise as presented in an amount not to exceed $175,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any questions or comments on this item from the council? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a vote with your buttons, please. And this item carries with a 7-0 vote. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the business of the city council. At this time, we will be taking a short break of about 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll reconvene. We have two executive sit down, guys. We're not done. We have two executive session items that are still before us tonight. We'll be meeting with those after this, but in the meantime, you're all asked to stay in your position, smile greatly, and Jonathan's going to get up and take mug shots.